Good afternoon, this is the latest video update on this Thursday afternoon on Tropical Storm Tembin, which has now made landfall in South Korea and starting to dissipate over the peninsula. It was last located approximately 170 kilometers southeast of Seoul, which is located over here. Maximum sustained winds are down to 85 kilometers per hour with gusts of up to 120 kilometers per hour. The system is currently moving north-northeastward at 40 kilometers per hour and could exit into the Sea of Japan later tonight. You can see in this latest visible image the storm continues to degrade and deteriorate, barely showing signs of that structure. The core doesn't seem to be well organized anymore, and looking at the latest infrared image, much of the convection is now situated along the north and eastern part of the system, kind of like what we saw with Bolivan a few days back when it moved north into the Korean Peninsula. However, the system is continuing to bring rains across much of South Korea and even into North Korea. Latest radar image from the Korean Meteorological Administration showing bands of light to moderate rain still impacting much of South Korea, although rains along the southern part, especially across Busan and even into Jeju, have for the most part ended. However, Seoul is still reporting light to moderate rains at the moment, and also winds of 40 kilometers per hour still being reported across much of South Korea, and even gusts of up to 80 kilometers per hour have been recorded at times in some stations. Unfortunately, Tembin has already claimed the lives of two people, and due to the wind, actually, there's one lady being killed because of a debris from the strong winds earlier this morning. The system has weakened, and for the right now, it's largely the rains that are going to be the threat in terms of flash flooding and landslides and mountainous areas. The bands are also spreading into North Korea, particularly across the western parts away from Pyongyang. So probably receive, in terms of the rainfall reports later tonight, additional 50 to even 100 millimeters on top of the 100 millimeters of rain that fell early this morning. Jeju even reporting around 80 millimeters. Seoul has reported around 60 millimeters so far. So it's still expecting again 50 millimeters or so throughout the night. But in terms of conditions, it should start improving tonight and into tomorrow for much of South Korea's system moves into the Sea of Japan. There will still be some residual rain showers and some windy conditions, especially along the western coast. But again, the big threat is starting to wind down, but still some rain showers that need to be watched. You can continue to keep monitoring the system via the Korean Meteorological Administration for the latest radar images from their site. The latest forecast again from the JTWC. In fact, this is their final warning. They have given their final warning earlier this morning. They're forecasting the system to move into the Sea of Japan later tonight and move towards the northeast, perhaps making a second landfall here in Vladivostok, here in Far East Russia tomorrow morning. But by that time, the system will have weakened into a tropical depression, or perhaps even transition into an extratropical cyclone, as we're currently seeing in the latest infrared image. The Japan Meteorological Administration, on the other hand, Japan Meteorological Agency, on the other hand, is showing a slow movement as it exits into the Sea of Japan, slowing down significantly in the next 12 hours. I'm not sure if that will pan out, but if it does, that could mean rains across the western part of the Korean Peninsula will stay longer than previously anticipated. But for the most part, the system continues to weaken, continues to begin extratropical transition, and it's not so much of the winds that are the threat, but the continuous rains, especially for North Korea, in the next few hours. Now, as far as the Western Pacific goes, it's relatively quiet around here, aside from, of course, Tembin. In terms of tropical cyclone activity, we're not seeing much. We are seeing some circulations across near Palau and also across the South China Sea or the West Philippine Sea, but none actually showing anything substantial or anything significant in terms of potential development. Computer models are also not showing anything in terms of cyclone development. So after Tembin dissipates, you could probably see a brief period of quiet Pacific in terms of tropical cyclone activity, which is definitely much needed after the twin typhoons that we've monitored in the past 2 weeks at least. And again, before we end our video update, let's just take a look at the Atlantic Basin for a second here. We have Tropical Storm Isaac, now moved into Louisiana as a hurricane yesterday, has weakened to a tropical storm, moved very slowly in the past 24 hours. Remember our video update yesterday, we were mentioning the system making landfall south of New Orleans. Now, the system barely moved and actually continuing to move northwestward at 7 kilometers per hour. Last look at approximately 180 kilometers northwest of New Orleans around here. The system has weakened to an 85 kilometer per hour storm, but just like with Tembin, the main threat actually here is the continuous rains from the system, which has been going on for the past 2 days across much of Louisiana and the rest of the Gulf Coast, especially across Mississippi, Alabama, and even into Florida. You can see the latest radar image from the National Weather Service. Still bands of moderate rains impacting Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and again even into Florida in the past 12 hours. Still some showers due to the continuous southerly flow from the system, bringing moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. For the most part, though, New Orleans have began to see quieter conditions. There are still some light rain showers, but conditions should improve here in the next few hours. Unfortunately, rains will still continue on the eastern side of the system. You can see the circulation around here and a lopsided structure in terms of radar image here. You can see the western half of the system barely showing any rain showers, but the east is where the moisture is, and you can see widespread light to moderate rains impacting Mississippi. And even we've had confirmed reports of at least 6 tornadoes, as far as I know, across Mississippi, although those tornadoes are actually relatively weak but could still deal some damage in a small area, so continue to be posted there as well. Now, in terms of the levees, they have been holding up as designed, although a parish south of New Orleans, Plaquemines Parish, reported that the levee has been overtopped by the water, and reporting widespread flooding in that area. Actually, residents had to be rescued Wednesday on their rooftops because of the rising waters. But again, the system is now beginning to move across Louisiana to the northern part of the state, and will start to accelerate in the next 2 days at least. So for the most part here across southern Louisiana, conditions should begin to improve. The latest forecast from the National Hurricane Center is showing the system weakening to a tropical depression by Thursday, and beginning to move into Arkansas, Missouri, and eventually to Illinois and the other parts of the central United States. As you saw with the radar image, we expect the rains to continue across primarily across the eastern part of the circulation, so Mississippi, Arkansas, and even into Tennessee should expect rains in the next few days, which is actually good news because of the area around here has been experiencing record-breaking drought for the past few months. So any form of rain is obviously needed. Of course, the high rainfall rates could still bring the threat of flash floods and landslides. So please do be aware of that threat. But in terms of heavy rains and strong winds across the Gulf Coast, and thankfully that should end in the next 12 to 24 hours. And that ends our video update for today. Continue again to check out the Korean Meteorological Administration for the latest warnings and radar images out there in the Korean Peninsula, and also for more updates on Tropical Storm Isaac, head out to 28storms.com. They have pretty good video updates as well, and they also have pretty good substantial video updates when the storm impacted the New Orleans area yesterday. So check that out as well. I expect Tembin to weaken and eventually dissipate in the next 24 hours. So this will be our final video update. And seeing as the Western Pacific right now is currently quiet in terms of tropical cyclone activity, we won't have video updates in the next few days. So keep checking out our website here at westernpacificweather.com. I know Robert Spade is still doing video updates every day as well, so you can check out the latest updates on the weather here in the Western Pacific. Stay safe, guys.